And so if you go back and look at the most difficult part of this passage, the most difficult part of the piece, the longest paragraph, that paragraph refers to itself in its complexity. It's talking about the nature of complexity, the nature of understanding the opposing factors that stand off in our reality and produce a higher understanding or a more complete understanding of the nature of nature. And this passage touches the nature of the seeker himself. It touches the presence and the emergence of the truth and the seeking of truth. In a sense, it's the kind of thing that motivates us to produce or reproduce the content of it. And it's an interesting phenomenon. And somebody like Richard Dawkins might try to call it a virus or something like that. But in essence, if you look at what it's saying is true. And so, unlike something that requires faith, if you understand the reasoning, if you understand the rationale, even though the empirical ground for it is inside the consciousness itself, what is there makes a lot of sense. It makes rationally, it makes a lot of sense, and it's very well reasoned. And so, I think that's a differentiating factor between religion and a more pure metaphysics or more ancient mysticism. And so now I'm wondering, Matt, do you remember leaving this out? Do you remember leaving this part of it out and maybe why you left it out? And does this help you any with seeing what I was getting at when I asked you why you wanted to read it in the first place? And I'll tell you that when I look at that video, the original one of the things I notice about it is the light. There's light coming into the window, and it's the light from the sun. And sometimes it hits you square in the forehead, like right in the forehead. And if you look at the timing with respect to the words, if you look at the way the light plays and highlights what you're saying, the metaphor is incredible.
The animal is a living laboratory in which nature has, it is said, worked out man. Man himself may well be the thinking and living laboratory in whom and with whose conscious cooperation she wills to work out the Superman, the God. For if evolution is the progressive manifestation by nature of that which slept or worked in her, it is also the overt realization of that which she secretly is. We cannot, then, bid her pause at a given stage of her evolution, nor have we the right to condemn with the religionist as perverse and presumptuous, or with the rationalist as a disease or hallucination, any intention she may evince or effort she may make to go beyond. If it be true that spirit is involved in matter, and apparent nature is secret God, then the manifestation of the divine in himself and the realization of God within and without are the highest and most legitimate aim possible to man upon earth.
And so if you'll recall, a couple days ago I mentioned that Mercury was making an exact aspect with the sun. It was conjuncting the sun just a couple days ago. And guess where Mercury was when you made this video? Your original video. And guess what else was going on? There was one of the very, very few solar flares that we have had in the past couple of years. And so that light that's coming through the window is very special light. And so I would like to give you some advice about this, Matt, but I'm going to use Aurobindo's words, and I'm going to quote the very end of the first chapter of The Life Divine. And if there is any higher light of illuminated intuition or self-revealing truth, which is now in man either obstructed and inoperative, or works with intermittent glancings, as if from behind a veil, or with occasional displays, as of the northern lights in our material skies, then there also we need not fear to aspire. For it is likely that such is the next higher state of consciousness, of which mind is only a form and a veil. And through the splendors of that may lie the path of our progressive self-enlargement into whatever highest state is humanity's ultimate resting place.